my God, my throat. Welcome back, everyone. Okay, wait, I'm going to start again. That was so weird.
It sounded like story time.
Now, children.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Welcome back, every guy. Oh, my God. Am I having a stroke?
Welcome back, everyone. It's cool, us too. We're Nicole and Meagan, and we are hanging on by a thread.
A thread. Megan and I also just had a whole conversation about how our like everything's going for us. Like our memories are going. We're just like blanking on everything. And just I'm short circuiting at every crossroads.
Yeah, I was saying how lately at work there's so much going on that like I have to physically close my eyes to make a point because I'm like struggling so much to like, I think Nicole said it feels like there's too many tabs open in your brain.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to sift through the tabs like while also explaining myself. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Guys, I'm so embarrassed by that. That was horrific. And I know I'm going to have to keep that in because otherwise your intro is not going to make sense. It's just going to feel real aggressive.
Yeah,
and
I really fucked you over with that one.
There's no editing around it. Anyways, we're here. We're doing it. We showed up. We've been talking for 50 minutes?
45 minutes, yeah. Quite a while.
Honestly, sometimes we should just like hit record and not tell the other person. It's just like our conversation that it's just a little bit juicier, to be honest.
It's a little bit more specific, I would say.
We name names.
And it is a little bit juicier for sure. But there's certain things that just should not see the light of day.
No. That must stay between the sacred bond of off-the-record friendship. Yeah. Megan's like, are you going to be able to speak for this episode today?
Like, are you going to get through the sentence? Like, where's the sentence going?
Megan, no one knows.
I have a friend, Bridge, who often starts, she's a friend of the pod. She was on the pod. And she often will start a sentence just with no idea where it's going. And I'm like, where is it headed, Bridge?
It's like, where are you going to land this plane?
But she manages to make it pretty adorable. So it's fine.
That's good. I don't really think this is that adorable. I think this is just, do you need to sleep and get some medication?
How are you doing? How's life other than challenges speaking?
Yeah, it's good. It's been just so busy. I normally feel like I get a bit of a break around this time where I can catch my breath and plan things, and work-wise, not happening. Life-wise, my sister's baby showers this weekend that I'm hosting at my apartment, and it's just like a lot. But it's very exciting. I made these beautiful floral ice cubes that I'm very excited about. So and my mom has done a lot of work leading into it. So
are you guys catering it? Like, how does that work? Okay.
No. Wow. But it's like some tea sandwiches from like this place, or like some like and I've got like a charcuterie board and a veggie board and all this. The problem for me when it comes to events is I have a vision and a Pinterest board, but not a lot of time, and I'm running on fumes. So it's going to really piss me off if my vision doesn't match or my execution doesn't match the vision. Yeah. So that's what's keeping me up at night right now. So we'll see.
Knowing you, I think it'll all work out. You'll make it happen.
I hope so. But yeah, I was telling Meg asked because I hadn't talked to her about this since today. She was like, how was your somatic therapy session? And let me tell you, as someone who's super spiritual and energetic and all of those things, I love a witchy. I got duped. This was a crock of shit. I've never been like, come the F on, lady. There's no freaking way that this is doing anything other than draining my like coffers. This is wild. Why are you... I laid on a table basically. She put a hand underneath me and a hand on top and went, just held me there. Silence. And went, so what's coming up for you right now? And I went, nothing. And she's like, okay, well, this is what I'm seeing. This is the energy.
Did any of it feel on point?
It felt like anything you could have attached to an eldest daughter. Honestly. Like, it was specific, but like non-specific enough. But also, nothing was coming up for me. And she's like, you're going to have a bit of an emotional hangover afterwards. And I was like, I felt nothing except for the anger because I had spent money that I didn't need to spend on something that was bogus.
You know what? Shit like this happens. I was also saying I got taken for a ride. Oh my God. I should also PSA to anyone who reads our newsletter. Don't order the dress that I added to it.
Oh, that's why I didn't understand what you were talking about. I thought you were like, no, I talked about this dress I ordered and it didn't.
No, guys. I think that's not a real site. I never got a confirmation.
Should we take the link down?
Yeah, definitely. I'll do that after this. I never got a confirmation email and I didn't even think about it because I'm like, I have 3 weddings this summer and I'm in like a manic phase of just like ordering dresses that obviously I'm going to have to return most of them, but it's so hard to find a good wedding guest dress. And so anyways, I was like on Instagram and this dress was following me around. And I was like, you know what? It's like really cute. And like, if it fits right, then it will be really cute. Or I could look like a sack of potatoes. I don't know. So I was like, it's only $50. Like, let me give it a try. Never got a confirmation email. Didn't realize because of the onslaught of confirmation emails I've been getting. And so then I emailed their like help desk and someone responded in very broken English being like, it is on the way. And I was like, this isn't a real site. There's no way that this is a real site. Like, so I do have to remove it from the newsletter. I'm so sorry, guys, because it just looks put an editor's note.
Meagan got scammed.
Yeah, Meagan got scammed. So we all get scammed. It happens.
Should we add to the podcast our worst buy of the month?
Oh, probably.
Or like our worst like thing, like something of the month. Like,
I mean, let me tell you, I'm sure that there's
plenty. I will absolutely be adding my somatic experience. I'm so mad about it too. I've not given up on somatic therapy.
Yeah, this wasn't somatic therapy.
Well, no, and I'm like, you're a massage therapist. I thought you were gonna like not just gently lay your hand on top of me and that's it. Move it around. Like
Am I supposed to be moving to match your hand?
Yeah, like do you want me to move into this? Like,
do you want me to move? I love it.
The delirious is set in. How are you otherwise besides your dress scam?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm really excited about this episode because I feel like all my plans for the summer are starting to like
take form.
And I'm like, this is about to be a very YOLO summer for me. But one thing that was really fun is this weekend I got to go with one of our friends to do some wedding dress shopping. She's getting married. And that was really cool. I've never been to do that. And I was a little bit like nervous because like you don't want to insert your opinion too soon, but they also want to know what your opinion is. So I came up with a pretty good rhythm of being like, how do you feel about it? And then sort of gauging
like A+ game right there.
Yeah, it took me a little while. I didn't start at A+.
Hey, we have to start somewhere.
Yeah. But no, she looked so good in all of the options. So it was actually like, this is the thing for anyone who hasn't gone wedding dress shopping. I assumed that this would be kind of like a triggering experience, kind of like going bathing suit shopping in my mind I was like, wow, this is going to be like so brutal because it's just, a lot of people sitting around watching you try on dresses. And like, if the fit's not great or whatever, like that would be really hard for me. And actually what's amazing is like, they just make it fit you. Right? Like, cause they just like have all the pins and they like, so I'm like, oh, this is amazing. She looked stunning in all of them. Yeah, sure. Like they were not her size. Sometimes they were much bigger, sometimes they were much smaller, but like she looked gorge. So I was like, oh, I actually would definitely love this experience. Like I now would love to do this. So no, it was really good. It was a good Saturday. And otherwise work is absolute chaos. But I'm getting through it and my team has been great. And that's all I got to say on that. Because truthfully, I don't think that I can
say much
more about work right now.
Do you know what just came to my head? Because I've been on such a summer house kick is summer's supposed to be fun. Do you know what's not fun? Amanda. But instead of Amanda,
summer's supposed to be fun. Amanda, not fun.
But instead of Amanda, it's work, not fun.
Work, not fun. Also, I know that like we just work all year, but I do feel that Canada should employ, like in France and in Sweden, I believe as well. They just like take off August. Yeah. Everyone's just not working. And it's just like, you just know that. Like in August, everyone's enjoying themselves. And it's like, we should have that.
Yeah.
Because it's so hectic all the time.
Thank God I have my time off over Christmas. That's like the only pause you get, but it's not nearly long enough.
No.
But there's something...
And you're so run down at that point.
Yeah. And there's so many obligations at that time of year.
So many.
But like, there is something nice about being like, I'm off, but so is everyone else.
Totally. Yeah.
Where it's like, if you take a vacation, then you just feel guilty. The entire, again, something to unpack with our therapists.
I'm going to be off at the end of May because my friend's coming to visit and we're going to Prince Edward County. And I just booked the cutest man and his wife. They have a tour company. They like tour you around. Anyways, it took me a long time because there's only 2 of us and most are like large tours.
Yeah.
And it's the May 2-4 weekend.
Oh.
And so we were completely happy to like go with a larger group of people, but everything's basically booked. And then there's like, it's insane how expensive these tours are.
Honestly, like, I feel like people think that doing, trips to PEC or Montreal or things are cheaper because it's in Canada. No.
Cool. Some of these, like, because it's to get for like 4 hours to get a car to take you to a few different wineries with tastings included. It was like almost $600 per person for a couple of these.
That's
I mean,
insane.
But it was just because like they were like, well, for 2 people, you need like a full limo, and I'm like, we don't need a limo. Like, I just want a man with a car, like that. That's all.
You need a bicycle at this point with a wagon in the back.
So, anyways, I won't drop the name of this company until I actually experience it and vet it. Unlike the dress saga.
Fair.
But this guy's name is Rick. I called him to inquire about his availability for that weekend. And it was like, when you just do some like work admin at the end of the day when you're life admin, when you're at work at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? I've been so productive all day. I'm just going to do it here. So I was like, I'll just quickly call and then I'll get on the streetcar. I was on the phone with Rick for an hour and a half. It was 6:30 when I left my office. He just wanted to suss out my energy, my vibe. When he found out that the guy who was coming to visit is from the UK, he was like, someone from the UK is going to be in Prince Edward County. He was so excited. And he knows everything. He was a school bus driver for his whole life.
What's his name?
They've started, his name's Rick.
Cute.
And his wife is named Betty. And they're so sweet. They're like, there's no hour, like it's just a flat fee, way less than what I was quoting before, but it's like a flat fee and they'll take you to as many places as you want. He has all these like hole in the walls that he's like, oh, and after we go here, like me and my wife love this little area. Like I can like drive you around there. And he's like, we can even take you for dinner if you'd like so adorable. So I'm super pumped that I feel like this is like a good find,
Yeah. This is going to end up on one of 2 places in our next newsletter. Either best find,
yes,
or worst.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's looking positive though.
Okay, it's been 15 minutes, y'all. Let's dive into last single summer and
Do you
what
know
that
whenever
even
I
means.
hear it's the last single girl summer, do you know what I always think in my head? It's the quote from Carrie Bradshaw in the first Sex and the City movie where she goes, "Kiss me. It's the last single girl kiss," or something like that, to beg before the night before the wedding. I always
Yeah.
just hear last single girl summer in Carrie Bradshaw's voice. And I'm not going to lie, it kind of annoys me.
I'm like a bad Sex and the City fan. Like I haven't watched all of it.
You're okay. I will not judge you for this.
So
Um, but okay, I'm getting sick. No.
no.
Um, yeah, this concept came up. I came across a TikTok, and I've always seen things that people say where it's like, listen, if you knew you were going to meet your person in 6 months, how would you behave? And I'm always like, probably the fucking same. Like, what do you mean? I'm busy. I have
Yeah.
shit to do. Like, and there's something about this concept. This girl TikTok came up, and it was all around listen, next fall you're meeting your person. This is the last summer of your life you're going to be single.
Yeah.
Do with that information as you will. And for some reason, I don't know if it was the music, I don't know if the words she used, I don't know if the fact that it's about summer and it was like very specific. Like, I don't, something about it clicked for me. And I was like, this is the energy I must enter summer of 2025 with.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah.
No, I agree. I think it's and I like what you said before we hopped on of like it's not so much just about dating. Like we're not talking just about, going out there and dating. It's almost the other stuff of like
Yeah.
if you know that you're going to meet the person you want to spend the rest of your life with in like October, what are the things that you want to fill your cup with this summer? So like yeah, if dating is a part of that, great. But it's more like how do you want to remember the summer? Like what are the fun things that you're going to be doing?
Yeah. It's
Um
like, are you going to be a ball of stress being like, and losing sleep over, like I did this last summer? I bounced back quickly though, but losing sleep over a guy that ghosts you and then
mm,
wasting a few weeks of like precious summertime? Or are you just going to get out there with energy of like, I don't give a what about these guys unless they prove to me otherwise? And I'm going to go swimming. I'm going to go for patios. I'm going to go for drinks after work. I'm going to go for a weekend trip. I'm going to go, I don't know, whatever. But you're
yeah.
just going to go on because you know come September and October, everything's going to be fine. Everything is fine. And everything you want is right there.
You're basically playing a trick on yourself in a very healthy way. Although it's funny because I did see a TikTok that was like, because I was just looking for inspo for the episode, and there was one girl who was like, "You do have to be careful because you can take this too far." Like it's
Wield
almost
this
like
power
this becomes
responsible. Oh my God.
yeah, it becomes the last summer of your life, and then you're like doing crazy shit. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I could see how I could really go off the rails with this for sure.
I think I'm going to be fine. I think I'm
Yeah, you'll
actually
be
going to
fine.
go off the rails the amount that I'm meant to go off the rails if I take this approach and be less uptight. Like, I think I'll be able to let loose just a little bit more and just not be so in my head and just be more present of like following joy and saying yes.
Yeah.
That's
I,
the vibe.
I think one thing I'm struggling with a little bit is
Yeah.
like anyone who knows summer in Ontario, it's the best time in Ontario. It's the best.
Ugh,
Like
yes.
cottage country, it's so good. Toronto's beautiful in the summer. I'm sure Ottawa is too. And everyone goes up to cottages on the weekends. And I'm like, okay, I want this like ethos of like, I'm saying yes to things. And I'm like, I have a layer of spontaneity to what I'm doing, but also I'm like, I kind of need to plan things. And I think that's the struggle I'm trying to balance of like, how planned do I want to be
As
versus,
planned as you want.
yeah, true.
And like, if there are things on your list that you want to do, like we want to go to Blues Fest to a few concerts, we have to plan those in and get tickets.
Yeah.
If you want to go to a certain restaurant and maybe it has a 6-week wait period and you're like, no, this summer I'm going to go and have like dinner there, you got to book a reservation. If you want to do a weekend trip with someone, you got to book that in.
Yeah.
Like, you plan as much. This isn't about being spontaneous. This is fill your summer how you want to fill your summer, where you do not have to be beholden to another person. You don't have to check with anyone else to make sure that you don't have plans as a couple. You get to tick off maybe some things on your bucket list that maybe you think are a little bit too old for, and you're past your prime on, but you know what? F it. We're going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
You're probably going to have a few hangovers. Probably going to get a little sunburnt. And you're probably going to have to do some like single girl calendar management to like get shit done in a shorter amount of time so you can free up your nights and weekends.
Yeah. I think like busy is my vibe. Like I want to be like moving and in
busy,
the world.
But not busy burnout.
No. And that is, so it's funny. We've both been single for the past few summers.
Wild.
And so I was thinking like, how do I want to do this summer differently? And I think this energy of, you know, the last single girl summer is kind of the framework of that. But yeah, I do think that planning is my friend, because I have ended up in situations, and the summer is bad for that, of like, because everyone's going out of town on the weekends, and especially if people have partners, they're often like with their partners up at cottages or with their partners' friends up at cottages. And so I have had a couple, I don't think it was last summer because I over planned.
You can go too far with the planning. Yes. We've all been
But
there.
the summer before, I would sometimes end up in the city and be like, I don't have any friends here. Like,
where
what
have
am
all
I
the people
doing
gone?
here? So yeah, I think that's one thing I want to try to mitigate against, is like to end up just alone in the city wandering around in the sun.
Yeah. So planning, your friend there. Absolutely. Coordinate with your people, figure out what's there, and then like fill in the gaps. Are there classes you want to take? Are there things you want to learn? I want to take some golf lessons this summer.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, yeah, why not? It's not that I have a fantasy of falling in love with my golf instructor. That's not at all a thing. Anyways.
How do you make sure you end up with a hottie?
You don't. And I think you just have to just let the world take you and surprise you.
Okay, cool.
Because at the end of the day, I'm just going to get a golf lesson. It's like a little cherry on top. Anyways, I think beyond planning, the other piece that we have to be able to do this well is detoxing. Like digital detoxing.
Yeah, I was like, what?
We have to go sober.
I'm not detoxing. I can assure you that is not on my bingo card for this summer. Digital, sure.
Yes. So, because the thing is we're so, again, Tinks talked about this in her Summer Side episode, where she was like, it's really depressing because we're moving in a direction where the 3D, like the digital world, is going to start becoming more exciting and enticing and enjoyable than like the real world. And like, that's a scary thought. And I think really making sure you're out of digital, phony kind of world is going to be a huge reason or a huge help in like actually enjoying and soaking it up. And when you're feeling busy, not feeling burnt out, because you can actually like enjoy and absorb.
Yeah. I think she made some really good points, and she was referencing some great articles on this. But I think the idea that like we as a society, and I can hold my hands up and say like, I do this, are so obsessed with like extreme dopamine hits and like the really good party or the really good hang with friends or the really good date, that like we have almost no willingness to accept like mediocrity from a social situation. And as soon as something isn't exactly what you wanted it to be, or like, quote unquote, we use the language like it's not serving us, there's a lot less willingness to like put up with that in social situations. Like you'd rather just go home and lay in your bed and scroll, for instance.
Yeah.
And I can feel that for myself too. It's kind of this idea of like, we live in a culture of convenience now, and everything is so convenient.
Yeah.
So I think for me this summer, like I want to build up more of a tolerance. It sounds horrible. It's like I'm gonna just hang out with people that I'm like less excited to hang out with, or like do things that I'm like less excited about. But like it's not even that. It's more just being open to experiences that like maybe you wouldn't have said yes to previously. Actually, a really good example of this, and like I totally failed, is Teresa invited me to go to Snakes and Lattes with her to play board games on Saturday night. And I was like, I want to say this in the kindest way possible. I really don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to hang out with you though, but like the lighting in there is just it's bad. And the board games and is there wine? Like, I don't know. It turns out there totally is wine. But anyways, like things like that, maybe I should just say like, fuck it. Like that's not something that you would pick for yourself, but there's a group of people going, and instead of like watching or you know, rewatching a romantic comedy on your couch, which is what I did, you should just go and put yourself in a new situation with new people. So I think that for me is a good way of embracing this idea of like digital detox. Because for me, digital detox is also my TV consumption is at an all-time high. Like I am constantly watching TV.
Would you cancel any subscriptions over the summer?
Oh, good question. Yeah.
I feel like that's a good time to like save some money.
Loads.
Cancel but some that you're not using. Like let's ditch some stuff that maybe isn't necessary.
I think I could do that. That's a really good, like, viable. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I could do that. I could probably cancel my Food Network one. I don't need to be watching the Food Network.
Yeah, like just anything that you're like, I'm not watching this anyways. So let's maybe clean up our subscriptions this summer, not just TV, but like our apps and things too. And then is there something that maybe you're going to out of convenience, but you're not necessarily, it's not giving you anything?
It's not really the same thing, but the first thing that comes to mind is not cooking in favor of just ordering food. And actually cooking for me is a way of not watching TV. Like I'm listening to music or I'm listening to an audiobook and I'm like doing something with my hands. Mm-hmm. So I think that like that could be a good way of removing TV or, you know, scrolling time.
Yeah. I've done it before too, and I've only done it like once or twice. Weirdly though, it made me happier. Like it improved my mood by the end of the day. Early day was not good. But I had like a digital free day. Now you can use your phone to like call people or text them, but I couldn't use any of my apps, no social media for an entire 24 hours. And like, it's hard, but it's a good reminder that you can like flex that muscle and you don't need to be reliant on.
It's crazy how hard that is.
It's so hard. So I've only done it twice. I know it feels good for me.
Yeah.
But I've only done it twice. So like that's something I think I'm probably going to implement into my summer just to like get more outside.
Also, a big part of this is our obsession with cataloging our life.
Yes.
And like the amount of things that like I try to be really intentional when I'm at a gig, for instance, of like I would say the only photos or videos that I go back and look at are videos of my kids' babies when they're really cute, or gigs. Like I'll go back and like rewatch it. But I try to be really intentional about like I don't want to be filming the whole freaking show.
That's me.
So and that's like an extreme example, but like cataloging every meal we eat or all of the time we spend on the dock with our friends at the cottage, or like that's going to be a really hard one for me of when is it worth it and when should I just
be in the moment and like memory capture it.
Yeah. Maybe there's also a play of like with like I don't know, maybe we have disposable cameras or something.
I was literally just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Or like we get a digital camera from like like the classic old ones. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh. Do you remember
That
back
could
in the
work.
day where we would take a shit ton of photos? We wouldn't edit any of them.
We'll
And the
just put them
next
on Facebook.
morning, we would upload like a 60 photo album of the most deranged photos. I think I had one album on Facebook called, you know that song, My Dick?
Yeah.
I had an album called My Dick.
My dick. I had one just called No Pants Party. No one was wearing pants.
Being a millennial is like strange sometimes. We've lived
Wild.
through some stuff.
We really have.
We're
And
like
we
the
just did
hinges of generations.
We
like,
did not understand the
I don't know what
concept of
this was.
editing
That's not a
ourselves.
hinge. No. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's okay. So I think that's a good way to like maybe release some of those things so we can be present and enjoy last single girl summer. I don't know about you. And I realized this weekend when I was just like in life admin hell.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would love this Sunday to just be patio hopping. I would love to not have these commitments and things that I have to do and these like life admin because I didn't do them all week and now I have to do them and I'm wasting a Sunday. That's beautiful that I could be outside meeting the people. So to your point about planning earlier, to me, one of the things that's going to make a huge difference for my summer, it's less about planning like excursions and more about like habit stacking my week.
That's
and
a good
like
idea.
having like 2 or 3 days that are kind of hellish. So I can have like 2 or 3 days after work, or evenings after work, and then my weekend free to enjoy. Like, how can I just hammer through what I got to hammer through so I can give myself the space to say yes to things and not just be like, oh, sorry, I can't do that. I have to do, X, Y, and Z. How do I free up space to say yes to things? And how do I free up space to just be spontaneous and be like, oh my God, it's like that day you texted me, you were like, it's a gorgeous Sunday. And both of us were like, I would just like love to be on a patio with you right now.
Yeah. I'm going to totally steal that. That's a great idea. Because figuring out how to front load your week, maybe of like Monday to Wednesday, you're like, you know what? I got to get through this shit. And then obviously some stuff will come up for the rest of the week, but at least then you're like, you've banked the hours. So you feel a bit better about going out and just having fun.
Maybe you shorten your lunch. Maybe you like move your hours so you're in the office a little earlier so you can be like, again, if you have the flexibility with your job. But I think that we have to, rather than looking at balance throughout the week, I think I need to just pack some shit together so that I have more space. And if that's more space to rot because I need it for an evening, then I feel less guilty about it too. And I can actually enjoy the rot.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I think one thing is like work does not let up during the summer, which is annoying. But I think lately I've been feeling very much like, I was actually chatting to a friend about this yesterday. I don't have very good boundaries with work. And it's really starting to take like a toll in terms of, we really do teach people how much they can expect from us. And we do have to set our own boundaries. And going into the summer, I feel like I do feel like I do this really well. I feel like with my team, I'm like so against them overworking or like, having to work on the weekends or anything. And I do not hold myself to that standard at all. I work on the weekends and I work late every day. But I think going into the summer, that's so important to me because as you get older, as I'm getting older, everyone always said to me, like, you're not going to remember work, when you're on your deathbed or whatever, which is very morbid. But with this like YOLO energy that I want to go into the summer with, I'm like, work is just a very annoying part of that. Like, I just want to have fun. And I care about my job a lot, but I need to be able to set boundaries that allow me to embrace the summer. Yeah, that was a bit of a rant, but that's how I'm feeling.
no, and I'm fully on the same page. Do you know how we've talked about before? Like, if we won the lottery, we'd probably still be working and like still.
Yeah.
My tune has changed. If I won the lottery today, I would do a transition and I would GTFO. Not because I don't
What
love
do you
my
mean by
job.
transition?
Like, I would just help them, like,
Yeah.
my notice. Yeah, I would just, like, leave them high and dry.
Yeah.
And maybe it's that it's summer. Maybe it's that I'm just hitting my end. But, and this is not related to my job. This is just working in general right now. I want to live.
Yeah.
I just want to live. And maybe it's because I'm doing everything by myself right now in my personal life.
Yeah.
And I have no one to kind of offshoot that with. And there's so many other things that I want to be doing and want to be spending my time doing. And I'm not. And I think that's making me more resentful right now than anything else. And because I haven't had that breathing space to kind of catch my breath and go, I just feel like this is not what God put me on this planet to do.
Yeah, this is not the point of life.
This is not the point. And I think reminding myself of that this summer and like my last single girl summer is also super important to be like, YOLO. How do I?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's okay.
There's nothing more depressing than a group of people getting together and like only wanting to, I guess, be nostalgic about the past because those are like the best memories of their life. It's kind of like if you like peaked in high school or whatever. It's like, I don't want to peak in high school. I don't want to peak in my 20s. Like, I want my 30s to be as exciting as my 20s were. And sure, it doesn't have to be more. Like, yeah, if not more. And it doesn't have to be the same types of stories, right? It doesn't have to be the same type of fun. But I do want to be able to look back on this summer and be like, wow, I like left it all out there. Like I had so much fun. Yeah.
So what does that look like relative to what you're spending your summers doing in your 20s, right? So is that partying? Is that like what does that look like, that fun summer in your 30s? And how does it compare to where you were a decade ago?
Definitely not the same amount of partying.
God, no. Who has the stamina?
I think different partying. I think daytime partying is my new favorite thing.
I love a good daytime
and
party.
When I say partying, I just mean like patio hopping or like going for a nice lunch and then going for a couple but just being out in the world in the daylight. I am enjoying a lot. I don't know. I've been reading, not reading. I've been TikToking and have come across a few creators. What?
I don't know what that giggle was that I just did.
I've come across a few creators who are talking about like, you know, you turn 35 and like your ability to handle a hangover just decreases so much. And so I think it's, for me, it's not about not loving going out and having fun. I'm a party girl. I will be until the day I die, I'm sure. My body physically doesn't handle a hangover the way that it used to, even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's been really hard for me to reckon with because it makes the partying less and less worth it. So I think I would love to go out and party. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. But I needed to make sense for all the shit I want to do this summer. So I think it's just balancing those two things.
Well, because you don't want to party so hard that then you lose a nice day. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to. You have no time to waste. This must be about.
I think the heavy drinking nights should be at a cottage that you can jump in to the water right the moment you wake up. I swear it's curative. There's no science behind it, I don't think. But lake water on a hangover, chef's kiss.
Yeah. I think for me, it's less about partying because I'm just not a partier to begin with.
Yeah.
There's going to be like 1 or 2 nights out this summer for me. Like that would be my party phase. But more so, if you're like me, it's how do I be out on the weekends? Like you said, day drinking, patio hopping, golfing, doing things that are like outside and fun and around
Yeah.
people, and like being like Ariel, like I want to be where the people are.
Yeah.
Right? That's what the energy I need to have going into this summer is. And so it's very
Was that a
important that
callback to an episode? I think that was
probably
we did a Ariel. Ariel came up before in one of our episodes. I want
I
to be where
do
people
it
are.
a lot. I think it is a saying that I say
Oh,
frequently, mainly when I'm so sick and can't go out, and I'm like, I just want to be where the people are.
right.
Uh,
Okay, so what about dating? What's your approach to dating if, you're going to meet your husband in September?
twofold, and they may seem like they're fighting against each other, but I have a reason. Say yes,
Okay.
but if you know in your gut it's a no, don't do it because you feel bad. So, like, let me explain.
Yeah.
So, like, new experiences, new guys, new places, say yes to, right? But also know yourself enough. Like, and I say this because I am someone who will say yes to things because I'm like, oh, I'll just give them a chance. Or, oh, I want to be I don't want to be a bitch. Or,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. And I often, in those moments when I'm thinking that, know it's a no.
Yeah.
Like, my body knows I'm not interested. I don't want to do this. Say no to those things. But everything else that you're not sure and you're figuring out and you're trying to navigate through, say yes to. And say yes to, even beyond dating, the party. Say yes to the random invite. Like, those are really important. Like you were saying about Tree inviting you for things. Like, have that energy into dating, but also know your limits and like just like honor if you're just not into something, just say no.
Yeah. Yeah, and also it's like perhaps like one of those things of like you got to try it sometimes to know if you like it.
And like
I'm not talking about the guy you don't want to go on a date with. I mean more just experiences. Like you've got to like give it the old college try.
And I do more times than not. And I always prove myself right.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I was gonna say something. Guy you're gonna go out with. Come on, it's right there. Fuck. This is why I need to not work.
Do you want me to go?
I've lost it. Yes.
So for me, I think I'm really aligned with you on the approach to dating this summer. I'm feeling like I just want to run towards fun. So if I like something about someone's profile, um, we've mentioned Tinks a lot during this episode, but she did a recent, we were just chatting about it, recent episode with the dating coach. And I forget what the dating coach's name is. We will tag her in the show notes, but she was talking about people being in the zone, sort of like in the zone of, they might not be like your perfect person based on their profile, but if they tick enough boxes to be like a viable option, then you should say yes and sort of see how it goes, and approach it that way. And so I'm trying to take that approach of, I think particularly if someone says something funny on their profile, but I'm not sure if like I find them quote unquote attractive or they're like my type, I'm trying to not care so much about that physically. Like I'm just trying to move towards someone who can like, I could have an interesting conversation with. Obviously there are like many things that go into that, but you just make a judgment call for yourself. And I want to like date people that, at least if it's not a romantic connection, they're cool or they're interesting. And if it is a romantic connection, great. But I just want it to be fun and lighthearted.
And I feel like if you're going with the mentality of, I'm going to meet my person in the fall, like it's happening no matter what I do this summer, and you're approaching dating with like, I just want to meet some people and I want to have fun and I want to just see what happens, and you take the entire pressure off because none of these people are quote unquote your person. You stop like future tripping on them. You can maybe be a bit more present and enjoy the moment and have some really cool experiences and just connect with some cool guys. And maybe have a few little, saucy makeouts.
We were just joking about this. So what's going on with us? And okay, if you're in your 30s and you like to make out with dudes, please let us know if this is also happening to you.
Yeah.
But we're like, no, it's not a one night stand anymore.
No.
It's makeouts. We're just into makeouts now. I'm just a girl looking for a good makeout.
Yeah.
That I'm regressing.
Are you, or is this
Sexually.
growth and maturity?
Sexually, I'm regressing.
So just that clip? Or that's all you're going to post?
You guys are going to love this episode.
So I don't think it's regression. I think it's just being like, listen, I know myself so much more now in my 30s than I did in my 20s. Even in my early 30s, I cannot engage in sex with someone I don't have a connection with. It's not, I don't do it. And I don't want to, I have enough self-worth, maybe the right word, I don't know, that like, I'm not doing it with someone because I want them to like me.
Sorry, I'm not laughing. I'm laughing because I thought you were going to say toys. I thought you were going to be like, I have enough toys. As in like sex toys.
Mom, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Also, Mom, if you're listening to this. So, and you're making a really great point. You keep going, sweetie, but that's where my brain went. My brain went to you being like, I have enough sex toys.
No, I just like, I have no interest or will to sleep with someone unless I want to sleep with them. And to be honest, if I was to ask myself how many guys do I actually want to sleep with, it's not a lot. Like, like until I get to know them or something builds, it's not going to happen, my man.
And the makeout is just like, it's
cheeky and it's fun. And it's like, it also just feels a little, not risky is not the right word. It feels more like carefree and fun, and like there's less weight to it.
Yes, absolutely. I also, as you were talking, I think there's something interesting going on here where like, not with us, I think just in general with women, like there was so much fear and anxiety about like, am I doing it right? Even up until like, with like making out, with like sex, like with everything sexual, really, for me at least, until I was like, I don't know, my late 20s. Like I was like always wondering if I was doing a good job.
You're more worried about them and how they're like the time they're having, and not just with intimacy, but like on a date, in real life, you're always concerned more with how is the other person's experience, more than you're really checking in and being honest and present with yourself and being like, wait a second, actually, how is mine?
Yeah. And I feel like finally I'm not nervous about.
I don't care.
Yeah. I'm not like, oh God, did he think I was good at making out? Like, obviously I'm great at it.
Yeah, like it's just the performative aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's not for me anymore. And like, you just got to follow what feels good. And I think when it comes to dating, if we have the mentality that the person's going to be there come September, October, right? If that's the mentality, then you know what? I want to spend my summer from a dating perspective, going on dates with people. I want to truly immerse myself so that when the person does come around, I have enough experience of dating and figuring out my boundaries and figuring out my values and figuring out what works for me and what turns me off and what turns me on, that I can very quickly discern, nah, this is it.
Love it.
Oh
Mic drop. This has been a doozy.
We kind of went all over the place, and I'm really sorry.
But I do think we've covered the most important pockets of last single girl summer.
So like, watch this space, because come November we'll both be cuffed.
Come November, I will be married.
With child.
I will be with child. Let us know what you guys are doing if you are single. And if you're not single, let us know how you're also seizing the summer.
What are your rules for summer? How are you doing this to make the most of it? Like in Canada, we only have a few months of the year where we don't want to hibernate. I was it's much darker than that. I need to go to bed. I'm tired. Soon. Toodles.
Toodles.